World Shakers. I have my friends with me, Kat and Brian Sullivan. How you guys doing?
We're doing
Great.
great. We're doing great.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
Doing good. And I was hearing you're from Southern California.
That's right. That's right. We're in San Clemente, South Orange County.
But who would not love San Clemente? And I like the way it's growing out.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice restaurants. It's crowded, but not too crowded, right?
Right.
Yeah, it still has sort of that Southern California surf vibe. And so, you know, if there's a swell in town, you know, you can see all the dads and moms as they're dropping kids off at school with their boards on their cars. And it's just sort of like a cool kind of feel.
So, Brian, back in the day, did you surf, and do you currently surf now? If you did,
so I currently surf now, and it's sort of like it's a bit of my church, it's a bit of my meditation, and it's a bit of my exercise. And San Clemente is actually where we would have our family reunions every year. I grew up, my dad was in the Army. We would move around all the time. And if we were lucky, we got to come to San Clemente and meet up with my cousins and all that. So my family still does that. We have been fortunate enough to live here. And so after our family reunion, while everybody's packing their car on Sunday, we say, see you later, guys. You know, business as usual for us as they're all depressed driving home.
An outlet for you. What do you like to do as far as sports or exercise? What do you like to do?
That's a great question. You know what's funny is my business is my hobby. So I pretty much, when I have spare time, I am digging into social media. I'm going through funnels. I mean, I go to the gym, I go to the beach. So those are probably my main hobbies, which is pretty fun.
Those are good ones. All right, so let me give you a proper introduction. CEO of Marketing Solved, co-creator of TASSI. How do I pronounce that?
Tassie.
Tassie. All right, wife, husband, you guys are parents to how many children?
3 amazing kids.
Yes.
Can you imagine that happened, that you guys now have 3 kids?
No.
No.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I have 2, and I remember when we had the 2, and then all of a sudden, like, you like are just having your own life in the house, and then you see these 2 kids running around. You're like, and how did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty grounding though, you know, as we have enjoyed success in our business. You can't be too full of yourself when you know, come home from a great meeting and the kids go, hey, you know, can you help me wipe up, or I need you to do this. So it's a really grounding, special sort of relationship.
We're grounded, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, I'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your business, when you got started, okay?
Okay.
What you're doing currently.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those 2 things.
Absolutely. So Kat and I were married in 2007. 06, 2006.
That's okay.
Let's edit this later.
Good job.
You know.
It was so close.
And we both had professional careers. Kat was working in corporate finance. I was working in operations for a biotech in the Bay Area. And in 2008, late 2008, in the height of the financial crisis, we found out that Kat was pregnant with our first child the same day we found out that she was being laid off. And we had some soul searching to do, you know, bittersweet sort of day. And what we decided to do was move from the Bay Area to a place where the cost of living was a little bit cheaper, near Sacramento, up towards Lake Tahoe. I took a job at a college up there, and Kat was able to stay home and start raising our kids. In the process of doing so, she started a blog just to keep our family informed of what was happening in our lives. And very quickly, this blog became the 4th most popular mommy blog on earth. And we were getting, you know, sponsored posts from Disney and Mattel and, you know, things like that. So I was pretty pumped, right? My wife's hobby was generating an income, and so that felt pretty good. And social media was kind of just coming into its own. And at that time, people started reaching out to Kat and saying, you know, how did you get such a large following? How did it happen so quickly? Could you teach me how to do that? And then eventually that conversation became, could you do it for us? And before I knew it, she started an agency from our home, managing clients. And about the same time that was growing, I took a job with Stanford and we moved back to the Bay Area. and she asked me if I could help get some clients. And so that agency grew pretty quickly. We had some high-level clients, some professional athletes, New York Times bestsellers, people you would know. In fact, some people you do know.
Yes, you do.
And it got to the point where in that business, in my professional career, I was really excited. I'm working at Stanford University in operations, best research institution in the world, supporting some really special people doing world-changing research, and using all of my vacation time and weekends to help support and grow our business. And we sort of got to the point where we looked at each other and said, is this really what we want to do? Are we helping the people we want to help? Are we getting enough time together? I was commuting and on call, and I didn't see the kids a ton. And so around that time, we decided to make a change and sort of shift our business. I left Stanford. We sort of shifted our operations model from helping in the form of an agency to becoming more of an education-focused business, so we could help more entrepreneurs. When you're working as an agency, you're trading hours for dollars, and there's only so many hours in a day, so there's only so many people you can help. And Kat and I, as I'm going on my soliloquy here, I'll let me wrap this up. But our heart is to help other people succeed. We believe in entrepreneurship. We believe that it does wonderful things for a person and their family and gives them freedom. And so we want to support that and help as many people as possible. So we started training them on social media management. I took my operations background and tried to take the genius that is Kat and package her and get her out for everybody, not just high-level clientele. And so we've spent the last couple of years with Marketing Solve developing that tool, Tassie, which is the automated social software. And it allows you to get the expert advice from Kat real time in a click-by-click format on software. So we tell people what to post and when. We provide content in all of those categories. You can use our graphics and text statuses, drop your logo on it with the click of a button, hit save and move on. And it looks like you've got a social media manager and a graphic design team and a marketer all in your back pocket.
Well, it's what everybody's looking for.
It is.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we think so.
Let me go to Kat.
Yeah, good idea.
But you did great. And then I want to get back to you about Stanford. I think that's
okay.
Some things in life, as you both would agree, you design. So some things are by design. You have a plan and you design the blueprint. Some things I think you just discover. It seems to me, Kat, that you kind of like discovered this thing that it's like almost like life or God or the universe just kind of like opened up for you, okay? But I would like to know how you were prepared to do this thing that life called your number to do it, because I don't know your background.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I had a really rough childhood, to be honest with you. And it's funny because when I was 6 years old, I actually was taken away from my parents at the time, who just were not able to care for us and provide the lifestyle that, was appropriate for a 6-year-old. Yeah. And so my grandpa actually raised me. So he was a really successful guy. He's a numbers guy. He lived through the Depression, World War II vet. And when I had to make the transition really early on at 6 years old, I kind of had to I made a choice, essentially. I said, hey, okay, well, I don't want to live like how I used to be living. I do want to live in a nice house, in a nice neighborhood, and have a car and a home and a family. And I remember being 6 years old and making that decision. Like, I can remember making that decision. Yeah. And ever since then, it's been intentional, right? Like, I went to school, I got out, I graduated, I went to college. I was always trying to do better. And even when I was laid off, which is what really spurred our business, even that was a thing. It was like, okay, well, now I'm laid off. Well, what can I control? What can I do? How can I still contribute? And I started blogging. And then just naturally, it's like, okay, cool. Now how do I make it the best blog in the whole wide world? And so that's how it just kept going. So I would say that a lot of that credit goes back to, making the choice really early on, and then having really strong mentors in my life, strong leaders. My grandpa's like my hero, who just kept me like, hey, you can control your outcome. You can control it. Working hard, control it, and that's kind of how I would say I would give credit to how I designed it.
No, I like it because I think that whenever we face obstacles, we can get intimidated, frustrated, or motivated. And you probably had the emotions of all three, but you chose to get motivated and kind of make a way where there was no way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which I think makes you and Brian good at what you do, because you could see this now in people's businesses, because I coach a lot of people that do businesses, and one of the things that they get frustrated with, they might even be doing phenomenal for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll hit a plateau. They don't know what to do next, right? But I think the obstacles that both of you guys have faced in your life have helped equip you to try to then make a way where there was no way. Brian, what do you think about that?
Awesome.
I think it's really incredible that you can pick up on that so quickly. You're a talented and tuned in sort of person. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I grew up the son of a U.S. Army Ranger, and so you adapt and overcome. It's just the way that it is, right? And that was instilled in me in a very young age, and I actually am passionate about trying to solve problems. So as things get chaotic and stressful, it's very interesting. My mind sort of it really focuses and narrows in on, okay, what is the complexity of this problem? What are its components, pieces? How do I solve each of those? And then I just go ahead and do it. And before long, if anything, no matter how big or cumbersome it looks, if you break it down into its component pieces so it's digestible, you can accomplish anything.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take about 10 more minutes today. And here's what I want to ask you, and either one of you can answer. What is one or some obstacles that you have faced that you've had to overcome to even get to the point where you are right now in the area of business?
Okay.
So who would like to take that one?
I'll take it. I got to be honest. I credit being naive to running my own business. I don't think if I knew all the challenges and hardships that we would have, if I would have known up front, I don't know if I would have gone down the path, right? Because there are just so many obstacles. So, essentially, I think for me in particular, it really goes back to like a lack of support. I personally have had a really rough journey with, family not really supporting what I'm doing and not being behind me, not being willing to help, or just not being encouraging. And so I love words of affirmation. That's my love language. And so when I don't get that from my family, and instead people kind of shun you when you get successful. Like your close family and friends are kind of like, oh, you're making it now. Okay. You don't have time for us. So we're not, we're not in your circle.
Definitely be that way. And I think it's a strange feeling, because I think sometimes we want to do it for them even.
Yeah.
Like to show, hey, look at us. We're normal.
Yeah.
If we can do it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
So, Brian, let's go to you for just a second.
Yeah.
What is it like to have leverage in life? So we have a lot of people that watch us. I did a post yesterday, Joseph, what was it, 102,000, and that was just me at a restaurant talking. So it's an amazing thing of how many people listen to the little stuff that I say.
Yeah.
But I would want to ask you this question. What does it feel like to have leverage? Because when I mean by leverage, a little financial leverage, like if you wanted to go to Coachella and go see the country bands, you could. Or if you wanted to possibly go to Hawaii, you could. What is it like to have leverage? People want to know that. What does leverage feel like?
Yeah, it feels like freedom, To me, leverage is taking those things you have in your life and using them the way that you get value out of it. So people can leverage personal relationships, professional relationships. You can leverage your talents, your education, your resources. And having the ability to do that is freedom, I think, for me. If we want to go to Coachella, we certainly have the financial means to do so. We took the family to Hawaii and just loved every minute of that trip. But even for the people who maybe don't have that financial leverage at this particular moment in time, there are still things in their lives that they can leverage to have that same sense of I don't know, fulfillment and happiness. And so our advice to anybody in our network is always to focus on what you do have, rather than focusing on what you don't have. And as you do that, the opportunities are going to show themselves for you.
Great answer, because it's not like you have to wait. It's what you're saying. You don't have to like wait until you have this much money in the bank.
Right.
But there's other ways to have leverage.
That's my personal opinion. Yes. There are people in the world right now who have less than we have and are happy with their lives. And so, there are ways for a person to look at whatever it is they have at their disposal, whether it's, like I said, personal relationships, financial leverage, or professional expertise. And if they want to do something with their lives, they just have to figure out how to put those pieces together, and they can do special things.
Okay, so if you just tuned in, you're watching World Shakers with Kat and Brian Sullivan, who I like you guys. You guys are just good people.
We like you a lot too, Tim.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Kat, tell us how to get a hold of you. How can we connect to you? How can we grow from you? Because what you just said to me, and Joseph, would you not agree? We talked about everybody.
Yep.
And if I'm not looking for them, they're usually trying to talk to us. You guys just talked about this kit. I never heard of anything like that. So now I'm super intrigued. So Kat, what is it? How do they get it?
Yes.
Maybe even talk about what it costs, just so they get a feel.
Sure, totally. So to connect with Brian and I, our main company is Marketing Solved, and you can go to marketingsolved.com. You can search Marketing Solved on any social network, and you will find Brian and I. And then the tool that we mentioned, which is our baby we love, it's called Tassie, and you can check it out at gettassie.com. And Tassie is essentially a social media management tool. So for business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, speakers, people who have their own brand on social media, it's a tool for them that lets them post all their social media. So it's a social media scheduler, but it really takes it to the next level. It gives them a calendar, it tells them what to post and when to post, and then it gives them actual content. So for those who are like, well, I want to, write a book and I need social media. Well, yeah, you got to start posting. And so like Tassie is the perfect tool because they can literally use hundreds of graphics that are already created. They can drop their logo on them. They can use statuses that are already created, and it literally does all the work for you.
What is the cost?
$47 a month.
Yeah.
That's the look we get. People think it should be way more expensive, but our heart is to help like the DIY entrepreneur. That's who we want to help. And so that's why.
Question, okay?
Yes.
So you guys this is in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So we have a church called the Congregation.
Yes.
And we're building it very organically on purpose, because I used to be out there in all the mega churches in the world for 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
Our average crowd was 2,000, but I'd go from 2 to 5 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. Largest crowd is 85,000 at one time.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We do now at the Congregation in Placentia is we have very little advertisement because we're building organically.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 650 people in just over 3 years to consider this as part of the Congregation, but it's a very cool, eclectic, artsy crowd.
Yeah.
Now, if we wanted to advertise a little more, I want to make a little deal with you guys. Would you consider helping us? Because I know you love this kind of faith thing. Anyway.
Without a doubt, yeah.
But would you consider helping us to post the right ads at the right time and just helping us? And as a win-win, I'm going to promote what you're doing on social media.
Yes.
Yeah, we would love that opportunity.
Absolutely.
We would do that even without the reciprocity, because we believe in what you're doing. We've heard you speak. We've been to your service, and we think that you have a message that the world needs to hear.
Agreed.
Thank you. Because what's happening is all my people are coming from Santa Monica, Malibu, Beverly Hills, Laguna Beach. They're not coming from my area.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need some local outreach? Of course, we'd be happy to help.
Joseph, You got the cell number?
I do.
Okay. So we're gonna do this, but we're gonna promote you guys just because you guys are just awesome.
Well,
Aw,
thank
you.
Okay. So we'll leave it with this. So the best way again to get a hold of you guys, and I'll let Brian answer this. What is the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Easiest and fastest way is just to search for Marketing Solved on any social platform. And we manage that ourselves. Although we have a team, we like to be conversating with people every day. So if there's a question or something that's specific for somebody's business that they want a little insight on, come to our page, drop us a comment or like our group or join our group, and we'd be happy to answer and address anything people have. If you go to our website, marketingsolve.com, you'll see just a whole host of free information. Of course, we have paid programs and courses that specifically talk about things like ads or, how to manage certain platforms and leverage them to grow your business. But there's a ton of free information there too.
This is the best packaged thing I've seen. And Joseph is looking at the internet on the website. He keeps nodding how great it is. And there's not a bunch of hype attached to it.
Mm-mm.
The reason I don't ask these other guys to help me because they're hyping me so much. I don't even know what they're just told.
Yeah.
We know those people.
Yeah.
We know there's a lot of that.
They're so affordable. No wonder God's blessing you guys so much. Okay.
Oh, we appreciate that.
And Brian Sullivan, it has been a privilege to have you guys on World Shakers. Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll continue to dialogue. We'll be on other formats. We'll probably speak at Angel Stadium together.
Oh, that sounds great.
Who knows what's next?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Life is good. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye.